improving student performance. The trend across all three courses shows that students move through our math sequence, as they move, I should say, through our math sequence, proficiency rises sharply. Evidence that our interventions, instructional coaching, and rigorous standards are translating into long-term success. Our next steps will focus on continuing to bridge the middle school to high school transition while sustaining the strong performance in geometry and algebra 2 that reflects the effectiveness of our current math pathways. So now let's look at a 3-year comparison at the high school level. This slide gives a 3-year look at the performance in Algebra 1 in 9th grade, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And it really highlights the outcome of our work around alignment and instructional consistency of the upper grades. Starting with Geometry, we've seen a steady and impressive growth. 73.7% of our students met or exceeded expectations this year, marking a 21% increase from 2024 and a 10.5% increase from our 2023 baseline. This reflects strong Tier 1 instruction and effective scaffolding from algebra into geometry. Looking at Algebra 1, the data shows rapid growth followed by stabilization. We saw a remarkable 98% increase from 2023 to 2024, bringing proficiency up to 33.3%. But performance has leveled off this year at 33.5%. That plateau signals it's time to refocus on foundational algebra skills and targeted interventions, especially in, again, the transition between 8th grade and 9th grade. Finally, Algebra 2 represents a real success point. As we talked about, 100% of our students met or exceeding expectations in 2025. That's a tremendous achievement, showing strong content mastery and confirming that students are entering Algebra 2 well prepared from prior courses. Overall, the trend for our secondary math sequence is clear. As instruction becomes more vertically aligned and skill reinforcement deepens.
On this slide, we have the same breakdown by student group. As you can see, our general education students are performing in line with the district's overall averages. And you can see here we are within thresholds across our general education and economically disadvantaged students, where we are showing that our areas in grade 6 and grade 7 have 29.4% for economically disadvantaged and then 23.4% as well. So we can see a slight dip there from our general education average, so that's an area that we'll focus on moving forward.
Okay, onward to science. How are our science students performing? Well, science is going to be not 5 groupings, but 4 levels, performance levels. So we are going to have the first 2 levels, below proficiency and near proficiency, where level 3 and level 4 are going to represent proficiency and advanced proficiency. Science is tested in grades 4, grades 8, and grades 11. Starting with grade 5, we see that 26.7% of our students met or exceeded expectations, which is slightly below the state average of 30.1%. This year's results provide us with a clear baseline as we continue to expand the implementation of the next generation science standards in elementary grades. In grade 8, we see 21.7% proficiency, just above the state average of 19%. And this reflects steady performance during a year of curriculum transition as our middle school science program moves towards stronger alignment with the high school expectations. The strongest results appear in grade 11, where 38.5% of our students met or exceeded expectations, outperforming the state by more than 7 percentage points. That's a reflection of the increased rigor and consistency in our lab-based, inquiry-aligned coursework, as well as our focus on scientific reasoning, critical thinking, and application. So when you look at the bars across all grade levels, you'll notice a consistent concentration of students in the near proficiency band, which means many are close to meeting expectations. This represents a real opportunity for targeted instructional support, especially around data interpretation, experimental design, and evidence-based writing. So when we look at the three-year comparison, how our instructional time and hands-on learning is shaping the three-year results. Starting with grade 11, we're seeing a strong trajectory. 38.5% of our students met or exceeded expectations, marking a 51% increase from the 2023 baseline and more than 10% growth over last year. This continued improvement reflects the strength of our high school science program, particularly in lab inquiry, data analysis, and course alignment. In grade 8, we see a modest but important rebound. Performance rose to 21.6, up from 17.4 last year. That's a 24% year-over-year increase, suggesting that our middle school curriculum revisions and lab-based practices are beginning to take hold. Grade 5 data, however, shows a three-year decline from 39.3 to 26.8. This underscores a need to reinforce elementary science routines, especially time dedicated to hands-on inquiry and STEM practices. So as we move forward, our focus areas are going to include strengthening hands-on inquiry and STEM engagement across the bands from kindergarten to 8th grade, ensuring consistent instructional time and access to lab experiences, especially at the elementary level, building a K-12 coherence so students experience a connected progression of science concepts from elementary through high school, and a continuing use of monitoring and CPT, which is common planning time, data to identify and support students who are near proficiency. Altogether, these results tell a very clear story. When science instruction is hands-on, coherent, and consistently supported, student achievement continues to climb. So here we are looking at science in the realm of student grouping. In grade 5, 26.8% of general education students met or exceeded expectations, which closely mirrors the results for white students at 27.3%. This consistency suggests that early implementation of new science curriculum is beginning to have some impact. In grade 8, results are also relatively even across groups, 21.6% for general education and 22.2% for white students, which reflects early signs of stabilization following recent curricular adjustments. By grade 11, we see stronger outcomes across all groups. 38.5% of general education students met or exceeded expectations, and our white student group achieved 42.6, outperforming the state average. Our Hispanic students at 30.6% are showing growth, particularly as high school coursework becomes more hands-on and inquiry-based. These results highlight a positive trend. When students have consistent access to well-aligned instruction, they perform more equitably across groups.
So how are we aligning intervention, instruction, and data to support every learner? This final slide highlights the system's professional learning and extended supports that are driving improvement across all content areas. At the systems level, we've established a Vernon tiered system of supports, or VTSS, aligned with the AIR model. This framework ensures that all intervention, instructional, and behavioral supports are coordinated, data-driven, and student-centered. Our INRS modernization will be another major step forward. Teams will now integrate academic and behavioral data into their meetings, monitor progress in real time, and cycle interventions more efficiently, allowing us to be proactive rather than reactive. On the professional learning side, we're continuing to invest in Tier 1 differentiation and use the iReady data to personalize instruction. This year, we've expanded our Rutgers literacy training for grades K1 and grades 6 through 8 teachers, as well as our participation in the state LEAR and AIR INRS cohorts, ensuring our staff are learning alongside state leaders in best practices. And finally, our extended supports help us reach students beyond the regular school day. This includes wind blocks for intervention and enrichment at Cedar Mountain and Rolling Hills, before and after school academic support programs in both ELA and math at Rolling Hills, Lounsbury Hollow, and Glen Meadow, and family communication around iReady diagnostics, helping parents understand their child's progress and how to support learning at home. Altogether, these initiatives represent a comprehensive tiered approach to student success, one that builds from the classroom up, connects intervention with instruction, and engages families as partners in the learning process. And lastly, we have our DLM slide here. We cannot report any data out because all the numbers are below the 10 student threshold, so there's not more than 10 students in any area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think a message that we heard clearly across our data presentation is when we have comprehensive systems of intervention in place, our data represents strong performance or growth trajectory upward. And then in those areas where we need greater interventions and support, we're going to ask for them. And so then, because our data is clearly and consistently speaking to those needs in this evening's board agenda, you will see that we have placed the partnership with AIR, which is for training in multi-tiered systems of support. This has been included in our Title I grant, which was approved, woohoo. And so then I would say the state agrees, right? This is the purpose of Title I funding. It's to provide those tiered interventions and those supports to our students early enough so that they don't see those declines. We are also seeing in our agenda next month partnerships with Rutgers to continue to provide teachers with support in content and curricular alignment. I think this is important as we prepare to enter into the budget season. There will be some requests and some programming asks around intervention and interventionists. If some of our schools have them and the data is showing the increases, then all of our schools need them so that we can perform the same way. So we are building a strong tiered system of support conversation in the district. We had our professional development on Monday. 52 of our staff members were there, led by our fearless leaders over there, our school principals who came with their teams of teachers, CST, school counselors, to begin to say, how are we going to assess the strength of our tiered intervention in our schools? So we're conducting a needs assessment over the next 60 days. They'll let us know what they need, and then our goal will be to provide those needs for our students and for our staff. So I think that it concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
John? I have one. You used the term a couple of times, curricular misalignment. Can you explain that?
Right, so in that particular area, the way the curriculum was set up and aligned, it did not address the standards that the students were tested on in the Math 8 and JSLA.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just to speak to the commonality of that, it's a tough grade because in Vernon, we have made the decision to offer Algebra 1 in grade 8. So kudos to Vernon for that initiative. That's huge and it's strong. Not only is it strong, where many schools offer Algebra 1 beginning in grade 9, the percentage proficiency, correct me if I'm wrong, was 51.7%. So not only are we offering Algebra 1 in grade 8 a year early to 124 students, 51.7% of them are meeting or exceeding those standards. There is a healthy number in the approaching group, those who are right at the cusp. And NAEP, which is the nationwide assessment, they're down at 30%. All right, so that's healthy, that's strong. What happens is, though, in grade 8 is that the students have to opt to take the Math 8 course or the Algebra 1 course. And so then the content needs to be split. We need to cover all Math 8 while teaching Algebra 1 in a year, and that's very difficult. So we're going to work together to now say, let's focus on Math 8 standards for those students who we know will take the Math 8 assessment, and the Algebra 1 standards for those who are taking Algebra 1, while integrating Algebra 1 K up. That way, when they get into Math 8, maybe we'll have more students taking that Math 8 assessment and the Algebra 1 assessment and demonstrating that success.
You use the word opt. Are they opting or are they being tracked into those choices?
Would you like to explain that?
I think it's a combination, in all honesty. I think some students, based on their grade and their performance in earlier grades, are suggested that they haven't met the proficiency to be successful in Algebra 1 at that time. The iReady diagnostic has been very clear on gaps that students may have, even though it's closing that gap. To go into Algebra 1, you do need a certain level of proficiency. So in some cases, it may be that they have talked to their teachers and their teachers have suggested that they need a stronger support in that level. In other cases, it may be that the student isn't or has decided, or the family has decided that they don't want to take that level. So it is a combination.
So it was something like 90 some odd students, right? Are you comfortable with that number? Are you going to look to get that number lower, or how, like, is that I mean, you mentioned that Vernon is a district that offers algebra and some districts don't, but if you do offer it, is there an ideal kind of percentage of students that should be taking it if you
I
provide
would
it?
never want to say an ideal number. I would want to go with where our students are in that given year. I would want to meet them where they are. And if we haven't seen anything, it's that each cohort has its own sort of character and personality. So I would be very careful in saying, I want a certain percentage of this, and I want a certain percentage of that. I want our students to be successful. And whatever that means, based on where they are when they're coming into that level, that's where I would think we would be. And as our math program gets stronger over time, as we've seen in the younger grades progress up, I'm curious to see how that shakes out then for our iReady diagnostics, our iReady assessments, our math performances in the levels coming up. So I think we have to be very cognizant. We have to use and make data-driven decisions instead of necessarily saying there's a certain percentage that should be in one class or another.
Okay. I mean, this sounds probably, it's way too simplistic, but 4.3% is really low, right? So if those kids are in that class and they were, I mean, do we have any explanation for why it's that low for students that?
Well, I mean, that's where, when we saw those results coming in, we saw the growth from, like I said, grade 6, then the growth to grade 7, and then there was that sharp decline. So that's where we said, all right, this isn't, the kids didn't get it, or the kids were, any kind of effort. It's nothing to do with the student, has nothing to do with that. It was a total misalignment of the course that was being given at that time. And we addressed it by totally revamping the program there. It's a totally different program at 4 through 8 due to that.
Okay. Charlie, I saw you first, sorry.
First, I just want to say about the presentation. I truly enjoyed this presentation. I think a couple of things I liked about this was there's nothing hidden. You gave the numbers, which guys always do, but you told us what the problems are. You pointed them out. You circled a couple of them, right? And the best part is you're giving us solutions. You're coming here and you're saying, and I think that's what the public's been wants, and I don't think that I don't think we haven't done it in the past. We haven't shown it, right? And I think that was great how you guys pointed out what's going on. I just had a couple of questions though about, so unfortunately, which, learning as I've been here, this was what, May? You get
Yes.
results now.
Right.
Those kids are already started school, the school year started, you saw the 60-minute period, there's no way you're making a 70 minutes period in the middle of the school year, right?
Right.
So, how much are we doing, because I know you have that and you have a plan, is that all put in place now, this started the school year, how they started putting, because, we have that 8th grade, is that where we're starting, or we have that in place now, these?
So some of it's in place, some of it we're building, some of it is very long-term, where it's going to take us several years to get all the structures in place. The math program at grade 8 is different this year. So starting in this past September, it's a totally different course. So that we were able to get in time 4 through 8, and that's different. Like you said, the instructional blocks, mid-year, we're not gonna be able to adjust that, but it's something we're looking at. I know the principals are always looking at their schedules, trying to optimize for instructional time versus, the needs of the regular school day and everything within it, from, lunches and coverages in the hallways and things of that nature. So it's a complicated thing, but all of the things we mentioned on there are at least works in progress. The multi-tiered system of supports, we have things in place, we are looking to strengthen them now. That consultant coming in to train us on that is a huge part of that, and that's hopefully getting us one of what we prioritized as the interventions, the tier 1 interventions in the classroom to help our kids succeed. So the answer is yes and no. Some of those things are in place right now, some are partially in place, or we're getting the conversation started.
And perhaps this is the right year to understand what it means to have a multi-year strategy, because we won't see improvements overnight. However, we're being intentional, we're being strategic. We will develop a strong plan aligned to our goals, and we will measure our progress, and we will report that out consistently. We don't have to wait for an NJSLA assessment to give us data. We have iReady, and so we'll be able to use that to report out to the board, to the families, to our public, how we're moving toward growth. I think also what we can say is that we're moving certain things this year. So if it's partnering with multi-tiered systems of support, if it's bringing teams together to begin to align curriculum in a strong way, and if it's also to begin to see how we provide support to our special education students, which are a part of our data set, then we're looking at another agenda item today, which is a special education audit. It's to say we need to take a look at how we have least restrictive environments for our students, how we give them the greatest levels of support alongside our students so that everyone has access. And I think the last point I would say is that Algebra 1 begins in kindergarten. It doesn't begin in grade 8. And so then it's going back throughout our curriculum and saying, how are we making sure that we see a strong through line of Algebra 1 running through all of our curriculum so that students have access and choice instead of placement only. And I think a way to start that work is to build on-ramps and off-ramps, right? So maybe this year you're in Math 8, but by the time you get to 9th grade, we'll be able to offer you more opportunities so that you can continue to accelerate while you're in high school. It will take time. But I say that was a good thing because we have new NJSLA assessments. That was my point.
True, yes.
So we won't be able to look back and compare year over year. Next year, we will start with a brand-new baseline across New Jersey. We won't be able to say 3 years ago and in comparison to. So if we're going to make changes for the better and strengthen our systems, then this is the year that we have an automatic organic reset anyway.
I'm sorry, Brian had a question. Did you have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I have two other
Okay.
questions, and then I'll say them at once. So, because I had to talk about the math, because I love math. My wife's the English teacher, I can care less about English, but math is what math runs the world, right? We can all talk math, we can all talk numbers, right? And we can build stuff with
We all
numbers.
talk with words,
But, yeah.
just so you know.
Okay, but I'm very impressed with the math scores, right? And it really, because and what you just said, and this is what I want, because we're doing this, and this is what we're doing, right? The spiral technique that, so we're getting math in the younger grades with the algebra, because I mean, I think algebra, geometry should be way lower, a lower grade level than we
They're
The
starting in
distinct-
kindergarten.
That's awesome. So, all right, that's answered my question. So thank you. And that's what our new curriculum that you guys have put in place last year we started, right? Or this year?
Inova Math started, this is its third year,
Oh, Innova Math, right?
and that started in kindergarten, so now we're seeing that impact. And in illustrative mathematics, we put in place, this is the first year.
Right.
And it's built on the same research-based strategies. So
And
it's
what
very.
What grades are those?
4 through 8.
Fourth grade, okay.
And then here, since you guys answered that, here's my last one. You had before and after school programs for Rolling Hills, Glen Meadow,
Oh,
Lounsbury?
this is my
We're
question.
adding those this year in
Oh,
our
they're not
grants,
in place. Okay,
Right, correct.
but it got approved.
okay.
How does that work when we don't have after-school busing? I mean, or how do kids access that?
Well,
Well,
we were able to figure out for Lounsbury for those few days a week that the after-school bus that's coming to Glen Meadow anyway can just swing by
Oh,
right here and
that's
grab the
great.
students. And for Rolling Hills, we usually don't do an after-school because it's so late, but what the kids will do is they'll hop on the Lounsbury bus, take it in the morning to Lounsbury, and then the bus will bring them over to Rolling Hills for the hour before school, and then they'll just go into school.
Okay.
Can I say one thing?
zero budget impact, by the way.
I just wanna- I'm sorry about English. I do care about, I just really like math much
You
better.
know he's in trouble at home now. He's in trouble at home. Okay.
I don't want my kids
It's not our
to do homework
problem. You
tonight.
said it, you have to deal with it at home. Brian, did you have a question?
I actually have a couple of questions, if it's okay. But just to start with basic fundamental question, what's the difference between an interventionist and a teacher? And given, as Charlie pointed out, that the test is done in May and it's now October, when does the intervention take place?
So an interventionist is a teacher. They're just specialized on giving additional supports to the students. So for example, if I'm a third grade teacher, I have my class, I'm teaching all day. Based on assessments I've given and things going on in the classroom, I see that, Vinny and Charlie need a little extra help. So
In English?
in English, obviously in English. And so I'll be working in small groups with some of the students, and the interventionist will push in to also support them, giving them targeted supports in the areas that I found on my assessments they need help in.
So is it a different teacher than their normal teacher?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
And they'll also pull, if that student gets to the level where that push-in model isn't working anymore, they can pull them to small groups and then eventually get one-on-one support if it's that severe.
And that would be, in that case, they're getting double and triple dosed. They're not just getting the main lesson with the rest of their classmates, they're getting additional supports. And as far as when that can start, because the iReady diagnostic and some other things that we're putting in place to gather information and data-driven decisions, we can start that at the very beginning. We've already started. Yeah,
We were able to kind of get a group of students together that had like needs. And when we created our classes, we tried to make sure that those students could go out with interventionists or they could come into the classroom. They also work with the teachers at common planning time, and help them build those tier 1 supports for the teachers that the teachers implement in the classroom.
So even though we don't have that data yet, we use the data we do have to group, and then when we get the NJSLA data, that's another piece we use to inform what we're doing next.
okay. So going back to the slide that I think you just referenced, where the ELA 6 to 9, and you talked about the jump from grade 6 to 7, and then the drop off from 7 to 8.
The grade 8 cohort?
Right, so my question is, do you track that, like, going backwards? I mean, what I'm saying is, you've got grade 7 is 62.8 versus a state average of 57, right? And then grade 8 is 52.9 versus a state average of 57.1. So the state average year to year is about the same, right?
Yeah, it's usually
But
pretty close.
we had a significant drop off. what was that grade eight's grades the year before when they were grade 7? Were they at 52.9 the year before? Or
So-
were they at 62.8?
So if you're looking at the bars that show the 3-year comparison of ELA 6 through 9, is that what you're looking at?
It's a 4-year comparison, I believe.
Or a 4-year, but it shows,
It
you know-
doesn't have a slide number, it's this one.
Page 14?
So it says ELA 6 through 9, 3-year comparison, and it has grade 6, 7, 8, and 9?
Right.
Yeah, so that data is realized on the next slide, one that says grade 8 cohort and grade 9 cohort. So those are measuring what you're talking about. So the grade 8 cohort, what we mean by that is the students who were in grade 8 last spring. So they were in grade 8 last spring. When they were in grade 7, that's that grade 7 column, and when they were in grade 6 2 years ago, that's that grade 6 column. So for that grade 8 cohort, in 2023, they scored 39.4. In grade 7, in 2024, they scored 54.6. And then in grade 8, they scored 52.9. So that's the same group of kids across 3 years.
So that's kind of what I was getting at.
Right.
So if that same group is at 54.6 proficiency in grade 7,
Right.
then it's not the grade 7 curriculum, it's the kids.
What?
I don't understand.
So let's, for grade 8,
Well, what I'm saying is, some kids may be more advanced than other kids, right?
Oh, you're
I
saying
mean,
if it's a
you know-
higher cohort or a lower cohort, then?
Right, that it just may be a more advanced group than the group behind them.
this is them compared to self, though. So for a cohort, it means it's the same.
Same
kids.
group,
That's what I'm saying.
okay.
So if I'm in
So
6th
they're
grade,
54.9 when they were in 7th grade, right? 54.6 when they were in 7th grade, and they're 52.9 now. So
Yeah.
their proficiency really hasn't dropped off that much. I mean, there's a difference in proficiency between the current grade 7 and the current grade 8. But the current grade 8, when they were grade 7, had the same proficiency.
correct.
So that's not the curriculum, that's the kids.
Right, in this case, against themselves, that consistency you can attribute to the students being a higher cohort. So that's why we do these ones as well, because when you're looking at the other page that you were looking at, those are all different kids.
But,
Yeah.
but correct me if I'm wrong, in a couple of these instances, and that wasn't the only one, I saw a couple others. In a couple of these instances, I thought you had said, when you saw that dip in proficiency from one year to another, that you were gonna address that dip through the curriculum.
Right, through curricular realignment as well as interventions in that
Right,
area.
but if it's not the curriculum, it's the kids, then why change the curriculum?
So when we're saying curricular realignment, it isn't necessarily revamping the whole curriculum. Like in that Math 8, it was, obviously, we just redid the whole thing. But for, like you're saying, Brian, in, grade 7 to grade 8, where that ELA, it's very close. What we might do is have different areas that we can target within the lessons. So when we do that iReady at the beginning of the year, that particular group, grade level wise, has an opportunity of growth in the area of informational text. Like pretty much at the beginning of the year, they all didn't do so hot in that area. So we'll realign our curriculum and the way we're presenting it so that we hit informational text more. while still
I mean,
meeting the
do you
standards.
understand what
Yeah, I
I'm
know what
saying,
you're
though,
saying.
that you
Like,
can
it's
have
not us redoing the
a
whole
group
thing.
of kid that comes in at kindergarten and it's just an advanced kid for whatever
Sure,
reason.
yeah.
That group does better than every other group that comes
Right.
before and after them.
Right,
It's like a
right.
bubble.
So if we're only looking at 2 or 3 years of data, it's hard to say whether it's a curriculum issue or
right.
whether you
A
just,
cohort issue.
yeah,
Right,
you
Yeah.
could just have kids
Well-
coming through.
There's one thing that we
So-
will always do, we are under a cycle of constant and never-ending improvement. So we'll always look at, just like Mr. Gagliostro was saying, we're going to look at across curriculum, even like you talked about informational tests. This year, across curriculum, math, social studies, ELA, science, we're looking at informational tests because we know our students are having a hard time with that. So when we say curricular realignment, it doesn't, like Mr. Gagliostro said, it doesn't mean but we're finding things that we can support to continually improve our curriculum.
Yeah.
Okay, I had one last
May I?
question.
Just one
Do
point,
you want to address that?
if I might.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
NJSLA or state assessment data is accountability data.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability data points towards systems. It doesn't point to student individually, that way.
Yeah,
The day-to-day classroom tests, assessments, formative, iReady, things like that, that we do in the classroom on a day-to-day, that points to specifically, this is my need, here are the skills that I need support with. The teacher can move instruction specifically for the student. But when a data comes back like this, so high level, it's after the fact, right? We don't get it until now. This points towards systems. It's going to say, take a look at your curriculum, take a look at your interventions, take a look at your grading system, take a look at your resources. Whenever data is accountability, that's what it's pointing to.
I agree, but I'm also, when it comes to data, I believe in the bigger studies and studies that are conducted over
Longitudinally.
a longer
Yeah,
time period. You know, I'd like to see that 8th grade group where they test it from kindergarten
Sure.
on and look at the entire wave and how the wave moved with the class behind them and the class in front of them, whether that wave was like this all the way through, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so would we.
Because then that,
Wouldn't that be nice?
So would we, but we
be
had
nice?
from
That
HESPA to
points
Park to this,
Yeah.
right, it changes, and now it's changing
Yeah.
again,
Every
and so then
3 to
it's
5
a
years
moving
they change the
target.
test.
yeah,
just
because,
keep changing
you know, a curriculum change is a major thing, and if you're looking at a very small data point,
Sure.
doesn't.
Well, I
really
appreciate
make
that we
sense.
recognize that this is one data point. It's only one. I mean, I know it's very important, and it's the one that we're measured by, but it's one. What we do have now is we have formative data in iReady. This will be our second year with it. And as we keep it, we'll be able to see that longitudinal data that you're looking for. As long as we have it, the teachers will be able to look back, parents will be able to look back, and eventually in 5 years, we'll have 5 years' worth of data to track and in comparison. I think a strong piece of work that we're doing now in preschool, because preschool is our intervention, right? In preschool, we're starting to now look at kindergarten data and say, who were the students who were with us in preschool, so that we can start to track it now. And while it sounds like a long time from now, in 6 years, we'll be able to look back all the way to see, did preschool work, right? And what was the strength there, so, agreed.
Do you get breakdowns within, like, do you guys get any more information? Like, oh, this area of this test, your students did particularly well or particularly poorly?
Just the domains,
Just-
high-level domains.
okay.
That's why they're changing it.
Okay.
NJSLA as is not giving us a great amount of data.
Okay, I know you have another one, but let's hear from Ray and then we'll go back to you, okay? Is that all right?
Can I just,
Okay.
Ray,
All
I just want to finish because it kind of piggybacks.
Got it.
So, in looking at some of the numbers, I kind of questioned whether our system favors kids who are doing better than kids who are not. So like I'm looking at the kids who take Algebra 1 in 8th grade versus the kids who take Algebra 1 in 9th grade, and the fact that the kids who take it in 8th grade have a higher proficiency than the kids who are actually a year older. So, again, the question for me is it the kids or the program?
Question for us as well.
Okay. Ray?
So you're answering my question with a question?
He doesn't have an answer for you.
What the hell?
I think you're answering his.
We are looking into that, though. It's a great question. It came to our mind as well.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. So, my statement is really a request to Ms. Mendez and Ms. Pellet even though I know these two will probably be doing it, is that since I've been in education on this board, I've realized that the education world loves acronyms, letters thrown together that they change the following year. Other things we hear about, I heard about that last year, when ELA, SLA, SAT, SSLA, XY.
TSS.
Constantly going on. To me, an interventionist coach is great names, but when I went to school, it was just called a tutor. Very simple word, it's changed, maybe the role is different, it was extra help for a kid who needed it. Is it possible to do a presentation
Oh, yes.
on all the main acronyms? and
Can I
what
be
they are?
absent that day?
He was
Longer
too
than this
excited.
one.
No, but I know next year, you said this test is gonna change, they're gonna come up with 3 new letters. People follow the bounty.
I think we need a cheat sheet in our binders with all the acronyms and
I meant even for the
what,
public.
so that we don't, yeah, because you won't, believe me, if you have a presentation on it, I mean, I've been sitting here for 5 years, I don't remember them all, so you could, if you have one presentation on them, you're not gonna remember all of them.
Five or less
For the
slides.
public, you know.
Yeah. Go around
Well,
the,
admit, last
Good
year
point.
at budget, and they brought a coach, I'm thinking football, hockey, never entered my mind, they were talking about education.
instructional coach.
But he didn't say that when he first said it, he talked about coaches.
Maybe we can add a glossary to our presentation.
Yes, that would be great, and then we would all be able to look at it and not embarrass ourselves asking about each
With
one.
asterisks that refer previous.
Previously known as.
Previously known as, formerly known
Right,
as.
exactly.
Also known as.
Absolutely. Okay, I got John waiting
I just
patiently
have
here.
one more comment. First, I want to say how great your presentation is, and I'm encouraged that for the most part, our trajectory is going up. Okay, there are targeted parts that we need to fix, obviously, but we're going up. But I just want to say one thing about the science test. I always complain about so much testing all the time, everybody knows it. But I look and we always compare ourselves to what the state average is and what the state average is. The state average is here, 70 to 80% of everybody in the state cannot pass this test. That indicates to me that there's something wrong with the test. It's not something wrong with what we're teaching or what we're doing, but it's crazy. I mean, 19% grade 8 in the entire state passed this test. I mean, that's it.
The science test is a combination of things going on. It really is the application of ELA and math. And when you ask science questions for an assessment, the state standards for science are the next generation science standards that we've adopted
Right.
pretty much in entirety, and they're 3-dimensional. So they include a core content part, they include a science and engineering practice part, which is what students can do, and a cross-cutting concept part that like weaves throughout everything. And in order to assess 3-dimensionally in a snapshot, you have to ask cluster questions. So those cluster questions have a long reading passage.
Right.
So if you already struggle reading and decoding and understanding, that's challenging in and of itself.
Sure.
Then you have a data portion where you're looking at a data table, and you also have a graph portion. So that's the math piece. And then you're asked to take all of that. And by the way, when you're doing this, you have to toggle between different screens on the assessment.
Right, I remember.
Then you have to find that data, consolidate it, and come up with claim, evidence, reasoning, scientific argumentation. It's very, very challenging to make, and that's why it is what it is right now. And that's where the frustration is even assessing a performance-based type of standard.
Right.
But we did get a broadcast that the state is looking for individuals to join their team to relook at the assessments and put our 2 cents in. So hopefully that will make a difference.
Yeah,
I just
in
want to point
short,
to, it's
something's wrong with the
every
test.
3 years. They don't think about this test for 3 years at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
If I may, as someone who took the test last year, who is also I want to do science for the rest of my life. I would like to go into biology. I had a 97 in physics. Like, I've had an A average in all of my science classes. That test for science, hardest test I've ever taken. It was lots of flipping back and forth, and for someone who is doing it at 7:15 in the morning, and you're just waking up, to consolidate all of that data and then try to explain yourself on it is very, very difficult for foggy morning
Sure.
brain.
Which is why school should start later.
Agreed. Agreed.
Sorry,
Oh, there we go.
2 years, I held it back for 2 years. Carrie.
I just wanted to say that another challenge that you face with these tests is student motivation. It's like a couple hours a day for a couple days in a row, and it's not tied to their grades. So you're asking them to just try their best, and they're, screen after screen after screen, and at a certain point, when you're proctoring, you can see them be like, and I ask my students, they say, oh, at that point, I just started clicking, through. So anyway, I want to say that's something that you're constantly battling as well. And I thought that what we did tonight with honoring the kids that got perfect scores is such a positive way to encourage the kids to stay motivated, to care about it, to try their best. So I love those kinds of initiatives too. And that's a real big piece of the puzzle as well. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that is true. Charlie.
First, I just want to retract my statement because I love science.
You said it.
Second, as math, and you need to comprehend English to do science, right? So science gets a little bonus for that. I mean, English gets a little bonus for that. But seriously, this wasn't on your slides, but iReady. How do you like it? Because this we put in place last year. How do you like the program? Is it worth something we keep? Is it and how do you I guess you talk to your peers too, right? Other districts, and how are they doing with it?
I mean, we are loving it right now. I mean, the fact that we can go through with the teachers and have, live data essentially to act on every week is wonderful. When you're going through, the kids are using it during the week on their My Pathways, which is a personalized learning path, and it gives the teachers reports at their fingertips to say, okay, Vinny needs help in this area, so when I pull him in a small group, that's what I'm going to target. When it shows that area that they need reinforcement in, they can click on it and it will give them sample problems they can work on the students with, approaches, ways to scaffold the approach so that the kids can access it if they need that support. It's really unbelievable.
So it's really two-dimensional. We use it in two different ways. We use it as a benchmarking tool at the beginning, middle, and end of year to see where they are. So that gives us some diagnostic data to make certain data-driven decisions. There's also a portion of it that allows students to work from where they are in a personalized pathway. It's called My Path, and that's sort of a separate piece of it, which allows them to, since it automatically adapts to where they are, it helps fill the gaps in for them individually as they go. And there's a lot of research that says if they do it over a period of 2 years, how much the gaps will actually decrease. And there's stretch goals and all that kind of stuff. So when the teacher uses that, it gives her or him targeted information on what small group lesson to specifically do for a specific gap for that specific child. So it really allows us to use it in a broader picture of a system, but also within a classroom for targeted tier 1 support, and then cycling up to tier 2 possibly and tier 3 as well.
And it also allows us to use it across the things that we're doing. So teachers can use the data and the learning sequences in class. CCLC, that's the acronym, Mr. Zimmerman? 21st century, all right.
I mess it up every time.
CCLC is using now, they're about to start using iReady. So when they get the students, they're focusing on the data. When we have our after-school programs, we're going to be using the iReady in those after-school programs. So it's good because it'll allow us to use it everywhere. A very good, consistent approach at what the students' needs are. And one by one, I think we're going to see that improvement.
That's great. Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you so much. That was really terrific. Really appreciate your presentation. Okay, so item 8X, we have board report summaries. I know that Mr. Contino's not here tonight, so we're going to postpone his. And Mr. Fisher is also going to postpone his, so that leaves.
I might as well be consistent. I'll postpone mine. I don't know.
You have yours.
I don't have a written report. The partnership meeting was held, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it was well attended by the various partners. administration, the school administration, the building reps, and the board. And it was great towards building a team and building communication, which was part of our goals, and building trust with the various units. And one of the recommendations to help build more trust and comfort with board members and with all of the other partners is for board members to go to more functions, to go to hockey games, football games, band festivals, trick-or-trails, go to things, tell them wear a badge or something. Just meet the people. When they see us at functions, they get a better comfort level with us, and we communicate. Nothing, just saying hello. And that was something that many of the partners at the meeting thought was an excellent idea. So I would encourage board members to go see some of our finest. And I'm pointing to Callista.
Thank you. Does anybody know when Music on the Mountain is?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hang on, wait, I have it.
24th, 25th?
25th.
25th. Okay, that's a great one to go to if you guys haven't
It's
been before.
wonderful.
It's so
really
fun.
It is very
impressive.
beautiful.
Super fun,
And
yeah.
it's usually a beautiful day on the mountain.
Don't say it out loud.
the partnership meeting was on September 30th. I
Thank
have it.
you, Dr.
There we
And
go.
also, to that point, Ms. Mendez included in your 2-week summary for us, dates of all different kinds of events and a link to RSVP.
Yes,
So
and many
things-
of you have already signed up, so thank you.
So that helps us, good.
Okay,
And that was it.
thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Dr. Ross, anything else?
No, that's right, that's good, great, thank you.
All right, so item 11, our student liaison report.
Sure. As a piggyback off of the partnership, your report, something I was very literally just talking about with my director the other day is we were trying to figure out how to get more students involved. We realized that it's not a matter of getting the students involved, but it's a matter of making the administration and the Board of Ed more apt to be involved with the schools, and that's where that starts. And
I
then,
forgot the play, too, the play.
yeah,
It's coming up.
hang on, we're getting to
Okay,
that.
okay.
So it was a big argument between me and one of the other board officers during our last meeting of how to get more people involved, and we determined that that was where we start. So it would be very, very greatly appreciated throughout all of our high school for that. So with that being said, our fall sports coming to a close, we have HWS, for which whoever doesn't know is the okay.
Okay,
It is
burned.
it is the Hunterdon, Warren, and Sussex County competition every year. It's a tournament that most of the fall sports participate in. That is actively going on right now. So we have field hockey in it. I believe they are on their 3rd round of HWS. Football is hopefully making it to playoffs. Boys soccer just won their 2nd round of HWS. Girls volleyball, I believe, is on their 3rd round of HWS. Girls soccer, currently 8-3, by the way. They're doing very, very well this year. I want to say is on their 5th round of HWS. And girls tennis also 12-5. Just, I believe, is on their 4th round. So they're all doing very, very well. Cross country, I believe, has ended their season with all of their meets, and cheer has their upcoming competitions along with their football games to end out the season. Moving on to student council, we had a successful homecoming. Our homecoming queen was Isabella Harvey and Denzel Welling. We had a successful fall pep rally. We sold lots of homecoming t-shirts in the week of Spirit Week, which was 9/29 to 10/3. They designed and had a pre-sale for breast cancer awareness t-shirts, and that was sold last week, so October 5th to October 11th. Also in that, Ms. Mendez, myself, Ms. Riegler, Mr. Demsack, Natalie Orlando, who's the student council president, and Matthew Celentano, who is the vice president, all had a meeting. I don't remember the date of that, but I know it was recent. And in which we discussed homeroom representatives and how we're assigning them, our goals for the year, and any issues that have already come to our attention that we hadn't brought up already. We also had our week of respect from the October 2nd to October 6th. Our theater department, this is my favorite part, we're currently in Tech Week for our opening night next Thursday. So that includes setting up lights, mics, sound cues. The lights are all done in the auditorium. It's very exciting. Costumes are ready to go along with our hair and makeup crew. So we have dress and show week next week. We had a poster competition with the results of Juliette Jalbert winning. And like I said, next Thursday and Friday, October 23rd and 24th. Hope to see you all there.
What's the play?
Rumors by Neil Simon. Our marching band has gotten first place for the last 5 competitions in a row. And the competition before that streak started, they got second place with an A-class score. And I'm not really in AP Psychology, who Caitlin Jensen, who got 100 or a perfect score on her ELA assessment, who was just here, is the president of that, and she ran a successful color run fundraiser in the last week of September. We also had a TAP parent roadside cleanup, so this provides scholarships for those who are graduating theater arts students. We have Chipotle fundraisers at the Newton location for the sophomore class on 10/23 and the junior class on 10/18. The junior class just re-elected their president and vice president, as their president left the district. So the vice president is now the new president, and another junior is now vice president. They're setting up their fundraisers for junior prom, of which I believe is held at Blue Arrow this year. And the top 3 sellers of their fundraiser will get tickets for free. Their student of the month, which just came out this week, was Matthew Lee, which is their class president. Senior class, Monica Curry, who is going Division I for her soccer, is the all-time leading soccer scorer of the Sussex County, with,
Great.
I believe, 138 goals.
Wow.
132.
No, I
Yeah,
think it's 200, right?
I think it's 137, right?
Still scoring.
Yep. And like I said, they're in HWS right now, so that number will probably go up. Our open campus and senior privilege started. Our second round of match college offers and scholarship came out on 9/22. Our student of the month was Victoria Fudger, who is the president of Key Club. And we have many college visits in the next month. So that's Messiah University on 10/16, which was today. We had High Point University we have High Point University tomorrow. I wrote that down wrong. 10/17, and then we have Kutztown on 10/21. Our sophomore class had their election for class officers. I am only aware of the president, which was McKenna McAloney. Their student of the month was Bella Nar. And the freshman class, their student of the month was Miko Goldstein. And as for fairs, we have the Wellness Expo tomorrow, and the American Heart Association is doing a fundraiser during the Wellness Expo. They're selling bracelets to play games of rock, paper, scissors, and whoever gets the most bracelets wins. That's all I have.
That's great. Thank you so much. That was really thorough, and I really loved hearing all about what's going on, so that's really great. Thank you. Okay, item 12, public comment. This is for items on the agenda and student matters. Do we need to read that? Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
Yep,
Record it, right?
thanks though.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. During the course of the public meeting of the Vernon Board of Education, the public is offered the opportunity to address the board on agenda items and any items regarding the school district. The board reminds those individuals who take this opportunity they must identify themselves by name and section of town and limit their comments to agenda items and or issues that directly relate to the operations of the school district. Issues that are raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board or administration at the time of the meeting or at any time. All comments will be considered and responses will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board requests that members of the public keep their comments to a limit of 5 minutes, be courteous, respectful, and mindful of the right of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the Board of Education should be thoroughly considered by the speaker and may or may not be responded to by the board or administration. Be advised that students and employees have rights of confidentiality and other protections under the law. Student names should never be used. The board bears no responsibility nor will be liable for any comments made by the public during the public portion of a board meeting. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that if they are personally legally responsible with potential liability for comments that they make to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Slamb. Do we have any members of the public? I see no one in the actual here, but I think we have one online, right? We do have someone. Oh, but you're not, okay, would you?
Sorry, yeah. First board of that meeting.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. Thank you. Hi, my name is Lauren Cooper. I live in the Lake Conway section. I'm here to talk about some safety issues that I've seen with the preschool busing and pickup locations. I started my bus stop change request back in the beginning of September, and I was told that we couldn't make changes until the 3rd week, and I did follow up, and I kind of got led through a myriad of calls, whether it be from the mayor to the county, back to the school district, and
I've never really gotten a solid answer until as of recently. Right now, my youngest is 4 years old. He gets on the bus on the side of Route 515 in Lake Conway. I did privately have the county come out to do a site assessment for safety, because I was told by multiple members throughout the district that they assessed the site for safety, but nobody could tell me what they were measuring. It's just that they went to the site, deemed it safe, and this is what it was due to length of busing and the small number of buses. I recently had some wonderful communication with one of the board members, which I do thoroughly appreciate, but I still don't have answers as to what was measured and why a 1-minute detour can't be put into place for the safety of the young ones. The bus stop is currently a 45-mile-per-hour zone, and for the county, it needs a 450-foot visibility, and that was not there. So I'm curious what the team members that went out to see the site were measuring, how they were doing it, at what time, because of course, during a commuter traffic time, there's going to be a higher volume, which would lead to a less safe zone. In 515, I don't know if you guys are well established with it, but it's a very, very busy road and a lot of people speed, and especially if there's fog or poor weather, it can become very dangerous. And it's not just our riders on the bus. Our bus has already almost been rear-ended by people coming up over the hill, has almost been T-boned by somebody trying to leave the community, and it's actually almost been rear-ended twice at this point because somebody has gone around other vehicles, not knowing the bus was there because they couldn't see. I know a sign is being put into place on the bottom of the hill, but until that sign is in place and seeing it's not meeting the safety visibility requirements, there hasn't been any change. So in the interim, the stop is still not the safest, and we still have our young ones standing on the side of the road there. So I would just like to bring it to the attention, even if I can't get the site changed for my son and the 2 co-riders that get on with him every day, I would hope in future that the bus stops can be looked at and maybe assessed for safety before the contracts go out. I've been told that the schools make the stops, and then the bus company told me, that the schools make the stops. I've been told that the bus company makes the stops, and everybody has denied both. So it's really just kind of led to no answers and very minimal action. So I just wanted to come and speak on the behalf of our small children to try to protect them, because really at the end of the day, it's about the safety of our little ones. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving on to our next public participant. Just a reminder, I always feel badly about not having said this to begin with, but public comments in this part of our agenda are to offer the opportunity to be heard, but we don't back and forth. So I hope, I don't want to make it seem like we don't want to address your issue, but it's.
I just wanted it out there.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to explain why there's no response forthcoming. So we do have another member online, I believe.
Yep, we have Martin Carringer.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, today your live stream is spotty. Just about 4 or 5 minutes ago, you had a 4 or 5 minutes break where everything was frozen out on both YouTube and on Zoom. Both audio and video were frozen, so I hope it doesn't freeze up while I speak. And I would like to talk regarding the results, how we're doing and how the state is doing and testing in general. And I feel, just to face it, I made my living, I'm retired now, I made my living in engineering, both working for myself, by myself, and for quite a while running a shop of up to 20 people. So I can only represent what I feel as a business person and somebody who worked in STEM, robotics mostly. What is important, it's math skill and what I call decoding skill. Decoding skills are figuring out what a person is saying both in word and written language, to know what is meaning and to respond to it in a manner that the other person can understand, in another way to communicate, to have proper mastery of the language. And in math and engineering and science, it is understanding. And from what I have witnessed and still witness, currently not in Vernon, but in other school districts, is that the understanding part of our students is low. Now, I feel if there's good understanding of the matter, then it doesn't really matter what the test is, the kids will do okay in it. And if the confidence is there and if the understanding breeds confidence, then it's there. Now, I had a discussion with some people in the past, and it was that some observations I made years ago, 10 years ago, when my daughter got into college, are not true anymore. So I researched it, and the result is that over the past 10 years, colleges seem to have been challenged with the fact that the kids that got out of school, and that's nationwide, were not really ready for it, but they still had to produce people who can do the job. Like, you still want a surgeon to be able to take your appendix out without messing up, in other words. So they had to adjust, and they had to adjust the way they taught to keep the people mostly paying their tuition to make it to the degree to do that. So I would suggest that we focus more on understanding. We focus more on STEM because there's where it's going. AI is going to take away a lot of jobs that are low in understanding, I would say. So we focus more on understanding and we try to teach understanding. And I think then our test scores, irregardless what the state average is, so if we beat a 50%, which is awful state average or not, or come close to it, will improve. Because our task is mainly to produce students who can function in society and complete the tasks that they will be presented with in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perringer. I think that's it, right, for public comment? Nobody else?
We don't have anybody else.
Okay, terrific. Ms. De Mendez, you're up.
Thank you. So another celebration, I did share this 2 weeks ago, but it is on tonight's board agenda. I'm pleased to share that the Vernon Township Public Schools has been designated a high-performing district by the New Jersey Department of Education as part of our recent CUSAC review. This designation, yes, right? This designation reflects our district's strong performance across key areas, including instruction and programming, governance, operations, personnel, and fiscal management. So I think right there we see partnership, right? We see the board, we see the district, we see teachers, we see staff and students. On tonight's agenda, the board will take formal action to accept the CUSAC results and to submit the certification to the state, officially acknowledging this achievement. I want to thank our administrators, our staff, our board for their collective efforts in maintaining high standards across the district. Additionally, the Governor's Educator of the Year and the Governor's Educational Service Professional of the Year is coming up. Our nominations have begun for these awards. Teachers and educational services professionals are nominated by their colleagues who go above and beyond and are dedicated, inspiring, and making a difference. So we will submit those nominations for those two awards. Some school happenings, Callista covered A large number of them. So I won't repeat, you did such a great job, such a great job. School happenings, but at the elementary level, we have Mind Travelers Library Fund Reading Incentive Program happening. Our Cedar Mountains Unity Tree is standing in their main hallway as a visual celebration of kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. At Rolling Hills, one of our teachers, Alyssa Massarone, painted a beautiful hallway mural that says, "Good things grow here." At Lounsbury Hollow, the SCA is preparing for its annual Halloween activity night, featuring the Haunted Hallway on October 24th. At Glen Meadow, our counselors are partnering with NJ4S to launch a grief support group for students who have experienced loss. It's a 10-week series, and it is beginning the week of October 27th. Our high school homecoming week, Viking Pride, Callista already covered that. We do have our Harvest House Dinner fundraiser on October 18th, where we're supporting the ongoing work of the student-founded hunger relief effort. They will be serving meals daily at 37 Main Street, and some of us are going to serve the homeless and to serve some meals, so you're welcome to join us. We've already talked about our athletic and our performing arts highlights. The Rumors play is playing on October 23rd at 7 o'clock and Friday, October 24th at 7:30. The Music in the Mountains Showcase is at the stadium of the high school on October 25th, and we are having 14 competing bands this year, so it should be a great time. I just want to thank our VTEA. They sponsored our Rolling Hills Family Game Night and our Cedar Mountain Steam Night and our International Night. So we're grateful for all of our partnerships. And then lastly, the district goals. Last month, the board adopted the board goals. And so now I've presented the board in your packets with the district goals. They are tightly aligned. We will be working through those goals in the areas of governance and, I'm sorry, that's your goal. In the area of building out a strategic plan this year. Our intention is by May 2026, we will adopt a strategic plan for the district, including clear action steps, progress monitoring measures, and a reporting structure for implementation beginning next year. For finance and facilities, we have a goal around our budget development cycle, where we will assess capital and facility needs and prioritize investments aligned to our instructional goals and prepare long-term budget and facilities recommendations, including some public engagement options, such as a referendum. I know we're going to the board, NJ school boards workshops, and so then many of us will attend some of those workshops on those topics. And then we have our communication goal, which we've already started on. We've already interviewed applicants for the PR position, so we hope to have a recommendation shortly. And the last one is around our student achievement and well-being, and you heard a lot of that throughout our presentation tonight, what some of our intentions are and the strategies that we are looking to implement. And I think that concludes the superintendent report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The informational items, that still comes under your, is that covered?
Yes, thank you. So our Artist of the Month for October, the VTHS students' artwork is being displayed at the board office in the municipal building. We have our enrollment report. It is attachment S1. We have our HIB report for September 2025, which is attachment S2. And attached as part of the district-wide Week of Respect, which is October 6th through the 10th. These were activities that were conducted in all of our schools. And we do have a following staff member that is being recognized for receiving tenure in the month of October. Paula Waller, congratulations to her. We are married, right? And then you heard the district goals.
Thank you. Okay, so item 14, this is going to be our reports, discussions, and recommendations, which will be kicked off with the policy chair's report.
So I am kind of ironic that my own committee that I chair is showing that I'm wrong again, that ELA is very important since that's the only thing we
It's
do.
the
in that
running theme of the night now,
Yeah, I guess
just
so.
so you know.
So, go ELA. So we had our meeting on October 9th, and in attendance, I did forget to put it on the notes, but I remember Carolyn, Brian, John, and Ebony all attended, and we finished about a little bit under an hour. Everyone was disappointed. We need more policies to go over, so anyone has suggestions, please bring them up.
You should have talked more about those service animals.
So,
Just saying.
yes, apparently there's no fences and the horses jumped over because they got back into the policy again. We have, we went over goal planning. So we had part of the goal planning was the board, the policy group is now really governance and policy, right? So we made some suggestions about going over the Oprah report, just Oprah log, just to monitor that a little bit. Onboarding, we briefly talked about onboarding, but that'll be a topic that we will talk about in the future. That's onboarding new members into the board. So some kind of workshops or stuff that we'll do. And also, we also talked about the audit. We did this last year, and we're going to do it again. This is an audit that we get that is part of our contract with Strauss Esme, and they review our policies and give us a status of how we go, if anything's out of date, and something we should look up on. So we took it last year. I think we missed a couple, but we still have another meeting this year, so we'll try to get that out, and then we'll have the policy probably, I think, January or something usually. The policies we reviewed. Actually, I look at my notes. So we wanted to review a couple of policies next time: 2361, 3321, and 4321. The new way we're doing it, right? We're suggesting it. We give it to the administration so they can give it their feedback, and then so it may not be the next meeting, but it's on our agenda somewhere down the line. Policy, we had 4 new policies. Policy 5337, which was the service animals that we were making a joke about because we thought we removed this, but apparently it found its way back in there. So we are removing item 4. We do not want horses in our schools.
Come on, you're miniature.
And by state statute, it is actually, service animals are only considered dogs, so I don't know how it got there to begin with, so. School choice is a policy 5117. Some of the statute changed a little bit, this updated that. The board, actually in the service animal one as well, the entire committee was unanimously agreed with its proposed changes, and so is the administration. School choice also has a rec 5117, and that was also unanimously, we agree with the changes proposed. 5339.01 is about sunscreen. This is a new policy. We use pretty much the template that was given to us. We had our school nurse they looked it through and everything looked good to them. One thing I did want to point out where it's grades 1 to 8, or K to 8, where you have to have, it's about having a note, right? When you have a sunscreen in there, you can't just bring it into the school, and you're supposed to be responsible with it and not to share it. So that's what the policy reflects. And then we had a bunch of policies from that are our second reading that we had no changes. So what we read last time is we agree with. That's it. If anybody has any questions?
Questions? No? Okay. So the recommendation comes from you, right? So
Yes, so then upon recommendation, we recommend the approval of the following policies for a first reading. It's 5117 Inter-District Public School Choice, 5337 Service Animals, and 5339.01 Student Sun Protection. We're also recommending the approval of the following policies for a second reading and final approval. And these are the conduct of the board meeting, duties of a public school accountant, legal services, professional services, internal controls, administrative employment, notification of promotion, statutory curricular requirements, special education Medicaid initiative, and the budget preparation.
Great. So can I get a motion to approve item 14, B1 through B2? Sorry, Stephanie, thank you.
Second.
John, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Pellet,
Yes.
Dr. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Ms. Vaccarello,
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman,
Stepped out.
out.
Oh,
Mr. Smaglia,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Aye.
motion carries.
For the personnel section, I recommend that the board approves non-certificated staff resignations and retirements to deactivate the following substitute teacher listed, non-certificated staff termination, certificated staff appointments, non-certificated staff appointments, appropriate substitute rates for the 25-26 school year, a mentor fee deduction for the 25-26 school year, CCLC program recommendations, hourly stipend adjustments, staff salary adjustments for the 25-26 school year, leaves of absences for certificated staff, leaves of absences for non-certificated staff, approval of the nursing services plan for the 25-26 school year, the approval of our chronic absenteeism corrective action plans for each school, the submission of our CUSAC designation as a high-performing district.
yay. Can I get a motion for item 14, C1 through C7?
So moved.
John? Stephanie, thank you. Questions or comments?
I just have one about the corrective action plan, about this absenteeism. Being on the committee, I don't remember that we ever had like a
Summing up.
formal
yeah.
ending to that to find out where we were with all of that. So how bad are we compared to where we're supposed to be? Did we improve? Let me ask you that. Did we improve from last year? Even though we're on a cap?
I know that at the end of the year, it was looking like we had, but we didn't have that last, meeting with the
Right.
last 3 weeks, and we do tend to lose a lot of students during those half days. So, so maybe we can ask that we get a final accounting of.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to know if we improved from one year to the
Yeah.
other, having the meetings that we did with the committee
Yeah.
and to
And
see if what they were doing. The principals were all on.
They were
board
doing
things.
great.
They were doing some great
Yeah,
things. I just
they
want to
were.
know
If it worked, yeah. And I don't know if it makes sense to sort of get regular report. We're not doing the ad hoc committee anymore, but we don't want to wait until the end of the year and find out that we didn't, we still have the same problem. So I don't know if there's a way to maybe monthly or
Sure.
bi-monthly or some kind of,
We can bring this through curriculum committee. I
Yeah.
think it's appropriate there.
yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
One more, just congratulations on CUSAC.
Yes, that's
Vinny,
huge,
That's
right?
a great job on that, man. Congratulations, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
not everybody did that this year. It was a tough year, so, for districts. Okay, anybody else? No? All right, we get a roll call?
Ms. Pellet,
Yes.
Dr. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Ms. Vaccarello,
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman,
Still away.
Mr. Smaglia,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Yes,
motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item D, curriculum and instruction. That's my board committee report. I'm scared it's going to be a little redundant because we covered a lot of it when we talked about the NJSLA, but I will try to motor through it anyway. So we met October 14th. In attendance were Ebony De Mendez, Vinnie Gagliostro, Dr. Halish Shep, John Kraus, Dr. Carolyn Ross, Charlie Smaglia, and myself. We did get a briefing on the NJSLA Spring 2025 State Assessment results, which I don't need to talk about because we all heard it. Then the administration reported on professional development that was conducted on October 13th. 52 staff members from across the district's K through 12 schools participated, included principals, counselors, teachers, CST team members, and coaches, in a session that introduced the district's pre-K to 12 framework for the multi-tiered systems of support, the acronym known as MTSS. That session marked the beginning of a 30 to 60-day process to complete a district-wide needs assessment. You heard a little bit about that earlier. Then the committee also heard about earlier, a proposed partnership with the American Institutes for Research, acronym AIR, to provide professional development, leadership coaching, and technical assistance to guide the development and implementation of sustainable MTSS systems across all schools. Hope you're following these acronyms, guys. That partnership will be funded from federal Title I grant funds, and it is on the agenda for approval in the next section tonight.
Jen, I think maybe the paper is.
Oh, I'm sorry, am I banging? Is that
sensitive,
what's making, oh my gosh,
might
I
be.
realized that was me. How embarrassing, I'm so sorry. Okay. The administration also shared plans for an upcoming special education audit, which is also on the agenda for approval tonight, and it's also to be funded by federal Title I grant funds, to be conducted by All In for Inclusive Education. That will review programs, practices, and procedures to identify strengths and areas for improvement in supporting inclusive education. Additional initiatives to be funded by the title grant include a proposed partnership with Rutgers University to provide ELA coaching, strengthen Tier 1 interventions, and enhance ELA instruction, because ELA is important, in grades 4 through 8. That partnership will be on the November agenda for approval. The grant also includes funding for before and after school program. You heard a little bit about that. And ultimately, the committee noted that the purpose of the title grant and the planned use of funds directly aligns with the district's data and findings emerging from the listening and learning conversations that Ms. De Mendez has been conducting. The initiatives funded through the grant, including MTSS development, the special education audit, targeted ELA coaching, and extended learning opportunities, are designed to address identified system-wide needs and strengthen consistent Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports across schools. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. So we're moving on to recommendations.
So for the area of curriculum and instruction, I'm recommending the approval of the travel in number 2, student-teacher assignments in number 3, proximity learning agreement, 1-month extension in the amount of $6,639.96. The STEM after-school program for 5th grade girls at Lounsbury Hollow, and this will be sponsored by NJ STEM. Tools of the Mind data collaboration agreement for the 25-26 school year. And then number 7 is that MTSS reference, the professional services from the American Institutes for Research to support the district's multi-tiered systems of support initiative in the amount of $30,750. It will be utilizing Title I funding.
Okay, can I get a motion for item 14, D2 to D7?
Second. I thought you were done.
Everybody just wants me to be done. Who's my second, Stephanie? Okay, questions or comments?
I have a question with the extension of the proximity learning agreement. Last time we were here, we were just getting it for 1 month because we're told that there's a Spanish teacher. Is there a Spanish teacher? Did this person drop out?
They're still in the application process. We need another month, and so therefore we had to extend this learning agreement for that additional month.
Okay, thank you. I just want to.
Why am I abstaining?
Because it's for you.
Oh, that's your travel. That's your,
It's your travel for.
your approval of your travel to, where did you, it was a,
The law thing.
I believe it was the law forum.
you were
Law forum.
yeah, you were attending. Oh, maybe it's the law forum.
It is the law forum,
Is it?
Oh, it's the law firm? Okay.
yes, on 10/23.
Yeah, because we pay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Dr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Ms. Vaccarello?
Yes.
We're supposed to do reports first? I'm sorry. Were we supposed to do this before we vote?
The box was missing. I added the box.
Oh,
back in.
okay,
Yep.
thank you. I'm so sorry.
The- That's unless the box was missing.
Okay,
Yep. Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Smaglia?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Abstain where noted, aye everywhere else.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Pellet?
yes.
Motion carries.
For the report section, I'm recommending the acceptance of the HIB report that was reviewed at the September 18th, 2025 meeting, and the random drug testing and school safety report for September 2025. Those charts.
That's it, okay. Can I get a motion for item 14, E1 through E2?
Motion.
Ray, Brian, questions or comments? No, seeing none, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Ms. Vaccarello?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Smaglia?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Pellet?
Yes.
Dr. Ross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item F, Mr. Slamb.
We have
Oh,
our
actually,
board
Mr.
committee report
Kraus
first.
getting
Yep.
his, I'm
Okay.
still learning my new agenda.
All right, looks like Friday the 13th came on a Monday this month, so we met on Monday the 13th for Finance, Building and Grounds. The meeting was conducted online through Google Meet. In attendance were Ray Slamb, Joe Van Kirk, Ebony de Mendez, myself, Brian Fisher, Jennifer Pellet, and Ray Zimmerman. Presentation was made on the state of our health plan going forward. We're facing significant increases as we negotiate the renewal of our plans. Kroger, our prescription plan, will not be renewing with us because they are moving out of New Jersey. With the rising costs of medical and prescription plans are going to be well over the budgeted 12% that we anticipated. In the coming weeks or so, we should know a little bit more about how much increase we're going to have to do. For the lease purchase for vehicle replacement, the order has been placed for the vehicles. The auditors have completed their in-district work until the state releases the pension liability information. That will cause them to come in for one more day after the state releases that liability numbers. We talked about the high school stadium advertisement program. The webpage and application form are completed and released publicly. We contacted the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce, awaiting response, and then we had a discussion on updating the website, and I want to point out that Mr. Fisher offered to take drone videos of the area for the website. There was a concern about board members offering services to the district and whether or not that could be a conflict of interest. The administration is checking whether or not Mr. Fisher could act as a volunteer since he's also a parent in the district. There was also discussion on what happens if the signs get messed up from weather events and who would have to replace them. Number 5, the Backpack Snacks for Kids program. I'm just going to read through some of this. The program that sends non-perishable foods home with students whose families are in need. We used to partner with the Sussex County Food Bank. However, after 10 years, that option is no longer available since the program ended due to financial constraints. We're looking at other options. We contacted the Sparta Food Bank, and they weren't able to continue the program. So what we're doing is they worked over the last month to locate resources available with hopes of finding a new partner. We're hoping to partner with something called Weekend Bag Program Incorporated to resume the program. A meeting has been set with them to discuss any additional resources that were located, and I'm saying any additional resources that were located will also be shared. And there was a note from the Tech Committee on the budget. Mr. Fisher stated that in his Tech Committee meeting, he found some software programs that could be used to prepare the budget. It was noted that these are possibilities, but the decision to use certain software is an administrative one, and they are currently using Systems 3000 accounting software that has a budget projection module. Okay. We were asked to compare our substitute rate of pay with the other schools in the county, and there was a discussion on whether or not our substitute rate of pay was competitive or otherwise in line with the rest of the schools in the county. Turns out that our 150 per day is equal to or exceeds the other schools' rates. Okay, now a little bit on buildings and grounds. We got a quote to verify the wiring at the high school for the PA system. It's $17,760. The Glen Meadow PA system discussion, we had potential options. We had a problem with it last month, and the administrative team did its due diligence in checking out all possibilities that may have been able to reduce the cost of the change order. None of them were feasible options, and we are moving ahead with the change order as is. There are district door replacements at the high school ticket booth doors, high school 017 exterior door, the Glen Meadow boiler door, and a Walnut Ridge bathroom door scheduled for 10/13. Lansbury Hollow water main leak was repaired in-house by maintenance on October 8th. The Rolling Hills Walnut Ridge fire alarm replacement, they're meeting with the architect and engineer to design projects again on October 13th. The Walnut Ridge parking lot, maintenance began restriping it, and additional paint was ordered to finish that up. And we have district signage. Signs are ordered to replace and/or add district signage. And that's what I have. Any ongoing things are all in the agenda you can take a look at.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Mr. Slamb?
Just a quick note that the use of buildings and grounds is included as an information item under attachment number 1. And then item 3, business office recommendations. Upon the following are recommended for approval. A list of checks for the month of October, hand checks for September through October, transfers for September, purchase orders for September, the board secretaries and treasurers reports. Those are attachments F5 and F6. Those are also for September. The transportation for the month of October, that's attachment F7. The comprehensive maintenance plan for the 25-26 school year, attachment F8. The M1 report for 2025-2026 school year, attachment F9. The agreement with the Viking Hockey Club of Vernon, attachment F10. The agreement with the Vernon Vikings Gridiron Booster Club, attachment F11. The proposals for Vernon Township School District lighting upgrades, that's through the ESIP, and that is attachment F12. The approval of recognizing the failure of the ground pump at Glen Meadow Middle School right before the start, within a couple of days of the start of the school year, as a emergency, which required going around the normal purchasing process in order to correct that issue before, essentially to return order to the school before the first day of school. That was a close call. The quote for Ryan's story presentation. The change order for the Glen Meadow Middle School PA system. The application, approve the application and accept the funding for the Rainbow College, New Jersey Climate Change Learning Collaboratives grant. The items below listed for disposition, and that is everything.
Could I get a motion for item 14 F3A through F3M?
So moved.
John, second. Stephanie, thank you. Questions or comments?
I just have a comment on item L. That's a CCLC.
Okay.
Climate Change Learning Collaborative.
Wouldn't it really be CCLCG?
Okay, well, thank you for that. Anybody else have any questions? Nope. Okay. We got a roll call?
Ms. Vaccarello,
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mr. Simaglia,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Yes.
Ms. Pellet,
Yes.
Dr. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Number 4, special services, is that, I believe that's you. Oh, it's you? Okay. It says superintendent, so I thought it was.
Upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, approval by the Board of Education of the following out-of-district placements for the 25-26 school year as noted below, and approval for the All-In for Inclusive Education Professional Services Agreement for the 25-26 school year. That's attachment SS-1.
Can I get a motion for item 14, F4A through F4B?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ray and Stephanie. Questions or comments?
What is this?
So this, well, you can answer, sorry. Happen to know that one, but I'll let,
Sure. So then we have asked All In for Inclusive Education to complete a comprehensive special education audit across the district. It will take a look at how we are classifying students, what supports are in place for least restrictive environment. It will look at our classification rate, the type of classifications that we have, our use of aids. It will look at how we're expending finances in those areas. It will look at our IEPs to specifically address how items are being placed in those IEPs. It will interview our CST and our child study team for how they're using assessments and how we are making sure that there's inter-rater reliability on our assessments, and if we're assessing in-house or if we're using partners outside of our house to assess and how much that is costing us. And then they will make recommendations to us if there are any areas that need to be improved. And if so, then they'll offer professional development to help us really understand how to provide best services for our special education students.
Is this something we normally do?
no, it's not something we normally do. It was covered a little bit in the curriculum committee report, but basically, since Ms. Mendez started, she's been doing a lot of looking into our special services programs, and this is an outreach of the listening and learning sessions that she's done, and also we talked about that needs assessment that they're going to do in-house. This would be the next sort of step of that, right, where we'd have an outside company really do a deep dive and work with us on how to improve. And we've already, I guess, identified some gaps, which we kind of knew about from a previous consultant that we had hired years ago to do with special services. But there's a need to really look more deeply and really work harder at making
Now,
improvements.
how long does it usually take?
I think it will take a few months. It'll take 2 to
Few
3
months.
months. Yeah,
Thank
they'll
you.
have to interview all of our staff. This is the same, All In was the same one that conducted the mini one for the district
Oh, it
last
is.
year.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
same, but the board had asked them to look at something rather specific. And there were, in that report, some findings. So I'm following up now on a more comprehensive look with them. And because they started the work, I think we'll find consistency with that.
Thank you.
And it is funded with grant, with
Yes.
title grant money.
Since we used them last time, you find it was very beneficial what they've given us?
Absolutely, absolutely. It was just a very narrow look, but we met, myself, Russ Fay, Brian James, met with Michelle Gardner from All In. We discussed what our needs were. Our needs were defined not only by us, but we shared them with all of our principals. And all of our principals also said, this is what we need to have the organization come in and check for us to make sure what we're seeing is accurate, and how can they make recommendations and suggestions for us. One of the reasons we're doing this is because our classification rate in Vernon hovers between 25 to 27%, and in some grades, 33%. The state is at a 17% classification rate. Our federal rate is 15%. So if we were to ask why is ours so high? I think that would be a good question. It's a good way to take a look at how we're supporting students, how we're classifying students. If we can provide early intervention prior to classification, I think that would be a very strong consideration for our district.
Anyone have any further questions? All right, we'll move to a roll call.
Ms. Vaccarello?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Semaglia?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Pellet?
Yes.
Dr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Item 15, public comment. Do we have any members? I don't want to get it wrong again. Any members of the public? I don't think we do. Is there anybody online?
Nobody with their hand raised online currently.
Are we sure that our online is working properly now? Because
Yes, it is.
I did get a note from somebody. Okay, great. All right, so seeing no public comments, item 16, open board member forum. Yes.
I just want to make one comment. I'd like to go officially on the record as saying I believe ELA is important.
I'd like to officially agree.
I concur.
All in, I kind of want to say all in favor, but that wouldn't be appropriate.
A
rebuttal,
Charlie?
Yeah.
Do you want to rebut?
You're not going to live that down here or
No, it's going to keep coming at you.
And I know my kids will be making fun of me later for it as well.
You might want to just take your time going home.
Yeah. I learned one thing about ELA is it would help you not to say stupid things in front of everyone. So I guess it is a very important skill. And but this is for public comment, right? Or for us comment?
Yes.
I just want to also, I mean, it was astonishing just seeing that many kids get perfect scores.
Yeah,
And that was
so nice.
That was probably the highlight of my time here is seeing that many kids come up and being honored, and we recognize them for what we do. You know, this is an education institute, and they excelled at it. So that's I'm very proud of them, and I'm sure their families are as well.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Time for adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Don't all speak at once. Okay, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.